Hey there, math fans. Shorter lesson today, I promise. Test 10, lesson 2, get your swords ready, and let's go. Today we're going to talk about identifying pattern rules from graphs and converting between mixed numbers and improper fractions. So we'll start with identifying pattern rules for graphs. So here's a graph, and the question is asking me what is the rule for this graph. So the graph is graphing circles on the x-axis and squares on the y-axis. And the easiest thing for me to do is make a little chart. So here I've got squares, because that's what's on the y-axis, and circles, because that's what's on the x-axis. And I'm going to look on here and check. So circles is 2, and squares is 4. Okay, so next I look at the next one, and I find that circles is 4, and squares is 6. And the next one tells me that circles is 6 and squares is 8. So what I want to do is look at these two numbers and see what relation is between them. So I'm looking for a pattern. So to get from 4 to 2, I could either do divided by 2 or take away 2. So I'm going to try this next one. 6 divided by 2 would be 3. 6 take away 2 would be 4. That seems to work. 8 take away 2 would be 6. I've got it. So my pattern rule for this graph is that the square take away 2 equals the circle. And that's what I can write. So there's my equation or pattern rule for this graph. Because of fact families, I could also write it the other way. So it could also be circle plus 2 equals square. If you look at the chart, you'll see both of those work the same way because of fact families. Or if I wanted, I could sub in the x and y. And I could put y take away 2 equals x, or x plus 2 equals y, since this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. It doesn't really matter. Those are my equations for the graphs. So I just have to look at the numbers, make a little chart, and figure out what the pattern is. So here's one for you to try. I have graphed yellow along the y-axis and purple along the x-axis. Take a moment, pause the video, and see if you can figure out the pattern rule for the graph. So here I've graphed all of my values. When yellow was 3, purple was 2. When yellow was 5, purple was 3. When yellow was 7, purple was 4. And when yellow was 9, purple was 5. Now I can see a pattern right away. This is take away 1, take away 2, take away 3, take away 4. But the problem is that I can't write that as an equation. So I have to find a way to do that, to create that equation using these numbers. So I have to think about what can I do to either of these numbers that would result in this. It's easier if you look at the smaller number, because then you're doing addition or multiplication instead of subtraction and division. So I'm going to start with purple. I need 2 to 3. So I'm going to try, what if I did 2 times 2? That would give me 4. So I'm just going to write this down. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 5 is 10. And now I can see a relation. These are all 1 less. So my equation is going to be 2 times the number in purple, take away 1 will give me the number in yellow. If I go 2 times minus 1, 2 times minus 1, 2 times minus 1, 2 times minus 1, that will give me to my yellow number. So there's my equation. Sorry, I made a mistake there, but I fixed it. So it's 2 times purple, take away 1 equals yellow. Now I could have gone from yellow to purple as well, in which case it would have been yellow plus 1 divided by 2 equals purple. And if you try those, you'll find they both give the right answer, but I think multiplying is easier than division, so I chose to do it this way. So we do have another video today, but I also have this review for you to do, so I'll get you to pause the video here. And the question is, what is the rule for this graph? So take a look at the green and blue, the relationship between the numbers, and write down your rule for the graph. And when you come back, we'll do the rest of the video. And our last objective for today is to convert between mixed numbers and improper fractions. And for that, we're going to do a study jam. So if you could please go to www.tinyurl.com/studyjamfractions. There's a very short study jam to do, and then you're done for today. So that's it. I told you it was shorter today. Have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow.